right, what we're going to look at here is the Jack OBS setup to do casting internet streaming. And what I'm doing is I'm actually using OBS in order to record this video because the usual video recording software, Record My Desktop, doesn't work with this much going on. It fails. Anyway, so what we've got on the screen here is up in the upper right-hand corner, we have OBS. And in OBS here, you can actually see there is the full screen capture. OBS is seeing the entire screen of my desktop, and there's other controls on it. Right here, we have SM Player. Move it around a little bit so you know what I'm pointing at. And it is actually a front end for MPV Player. But SM Player is in a loop. It's playing a tape that I took some number of years ago in Cologne, Germany. I own the copyright, so I won't get in trouble with YouTube on it. But it is whatever you've got down here. If you've got a playlist, if you've got music videos, or just plain music without any video. This has video, which of course is somewhat more complicated than just playing audio, but it's in a continuous loop. And it is producing output, which is running into Jack. What we've got here is the Jack master interface. This is the software which handles compression, it handles equalization, volume controls, lots of things. This is the Jack J-Men, we'll just call it. Here we've got some VU meters, some metering. There are a number of different metering products available. This is kind of a standard one, VU meters, and that's what I've used. This is the Jack connection kit, QJack CTL. And it is actually managing all the connections, all the audio connections in the system. Over here in OBS, I've got several different scenes. The scene that we're in right now is full screen. And full screen is composed of Jack Input Client, which is the audio, and you can see the audio bouncing around here. I wonder if I've got the volume up enough. I should push it up a little bit. That's the audio. You can see the green going back and forth. We've got some text here, which I'm not really using, but there it is. It's a feature of OBS. The screen capture, which of course is what you are actually seeing. If I turn it off, everything goes to black. The image down here doesn't have anything in it. It's not connected to anything. It was something from before. These are other scenes. These other scenes are set up with different contents, whereas this is the contents of this particular scene. The other scenes may have different video. They may have different slides, different pictures, whatever you've got. So I'm going to skip to them. As I skip to them, you'll see them. You won't see the full screen anymore. So I'm going to video insert first. And you see the video insert's quite different. It's got a background scene. It's got the video player in the middle. It's got the meters on the left, and it's got a small version of JA-Min on the right. And there's some text at the top. Now, you can't see the composition of it because it's in the mode it's recording from is just what you're seeing. I go back to full screen now, and there's the full screen. Now there's a test pattern insert, and there's a test pattern. It's actually composed of multiple things. There's the TV, which if I turn off, you can see the test pattern's actually behind the TV. The TV's got a cutout in it. It's transparent. If I turn off that, you can see the road. Oh, there's a palmetto. Turn off the palmetto. Now you see the road. But these things are, JA-Min is here too, as I turn them off and on. Oh, don't turn off the Jack Input Client. I think I just did. Yeah, that probably turned off the audio momentarily. All right, another one is a camera insert. Basically the same thing. If I want to put a live video camera, this is where I'd put it. I don't have it at the moment. I had it a while ago. You don't need to see my face. There's just a road view, which only consists of the camera, the TV set and the image. There's a standby. I've used that one a lot. All right, so these are the basics. Now we've got, actually, as it turns out, we've got a lot of different features in order to change scenes. I just switched to one called Lumina Wipe, and let me go to it, and you'll see a different pattern as it changes. Lumina Wipe, let's see, Wipe 3. I don't know what Wipe 3 did. We'll find out in a second. I know it's some kind of a fractal pattern. And then Swipe, there's another one. There's a lot of these and a lot of different angles that you can go at. That drops it down from the top. Lumina Wipe 2, another one there. So these are ways of switching your scenes, and it's quite professional. Fade to color, and that's just kind of a standard sort of fade. There's a basic swipe here, rises from the bottom. But anyway, which is the one I liked the best there. I think it was Lumina 3. No, that's the one that does the eye. There it is. That's a nice one. Anyway, that's just scene changing. And now we go back to the full screen. All right, now let's look at the components in more detail. First of all, how is the audio all routed? That's the important thing. Down here, we've got the connection kit. Now, I can't get into it right now because if I did, I'd cause the audio to die. What we've got down here is, I can't hit stop, obviously. There is a setup mode, and I think I can bring up the setup without everything going off the wall. In the setup, there are options, for example, which device you want and so forth. The advanced options where you set up the device. Your machine probably has one audio card. You can have many audio cards, up to 8 usually. In Linux, the audio is all handled by ALSA, A-L-S-A, Advanced Linux Sound Architecture. It's at the driver level. At the server level, servers talk to ALSA. The standard server is Pulse. And so you can have multiple programs that are consuming and producing audio. And they talk to Pulse, and Pulse talks to ALSA. ALSA only has one conversation with one program for a given card. So ALSA is not a multiplex operation. It's a single operation. So Pulse is one of the ways you can have multiple sources and multiple targets on the audio chain. Pulse is old. It's got a lot of problems. It works fine, but Jack is the way to go. The Jack is much higher tech, has much more facilities, and it is the thing that's going to be coming in the future. Jack takes the place of Pulse. So instead of Pulse talking to ALSA, Jack will talk to ALSA. You could have another card, as I do on my machine. It's just an $8 plug-in USB audio card, and that one is still controlled by Pulse. Or ALSA is controlled. ALSA controls it, of course, but there's a Pulse that talks to it. And I use that because not all software is compatible with Jack. For example, your browsers, Firefox and Chrome, don't have Jack output at the moment. They probably will soon enough, but at the moment they don't. So if you want output from those, you have to run them through another audio card. And so that plug-in USB card is the way to go. And the output of that USB card goes into my little mixer. I've got a Behringer mixer sitting next to me with the microphone is plugged into as well. And the Behringer mixer, I can take the input or the output from this from the USB card, and I can route it back into the input of the main card on the machine, the same as where the audio goes. So there are ways of doing that. My screen is flickering a bit. It could have something to do with the lightning storm going on outside. I'm not sure. All right, or I've got too many things on the screen simultaneously. I think I'll just tell Cologne Bahnhof to stay still for a moment. All right, now what are we looking at in terms of the connections? These down here, I'm down in this the connection kit. If I click connect, you see the actual connections in effect at the moment. I'll bring it full screen. These are producers of audio. These are consumers of audio. So on the left, it's the producers. On the right, it's the consumers. These are output ports. The right side is input ports. Now, where is it coming from? Well, basically, system is this here system capture. It is my microphone. It is the input in the back of the audio card. It is capture. Okay. So the capture system capture here, the green line, is going to JA-min. It's going to the input of JA-min. All right? MPV, that's actually the video player. The output of the video player, it's not SM player, it's really MPV. The output of the video player is also going to the input of JA-min. All right? So these guys are producing audio, and they are going into JA-min. JAMN turns around and becomes a source of audio. The output of this is the input to JAMN. Over here is the output to JAMN. The output from JAMN is now routed to system playback. I have some speakers here, but they're turned down or we get feedback. So system is the actual audio out on that card. Processed is those meters down here. These are the meters. They've been given a name, processed. You can, when you start them up, you can give them a name. So as I talk, the output coming from JAMN is causing the meters to move, and the output is going to Jack Input Client. So the output from JAMN is going to 3 different places: Jack Input Client, processed, the meters, and to the audio output for the card. Jack Input Client is over here. Jack Input Client is the input to OBS. So the output from JAMN is becoming input to OBS. And you can see as I talk, the green bar is going up and down. Now you could take in settings over here, it's something else I don't want to get into, that'll cause problems. But the settings over here, I can set it up so it can take audio from Pulse and from other devices as well. But at the moment, it's set up to take audio from the Jack client. Okay, that's the actual connections in effect at the moment. Patch Bay, which is this one right here, Patch Bay is a pre-configured. This is when I launched Jack Audio Connection Kit, I told it to use jack1.xml, I think it is. It's a file that contains the connections I want it to start with. Now, I could do it manually every time, but that's a bit of a pain. So I've got these connections already built in. You see, they're pretty much the same. The only difference here is MPV has this regular expression after it. The thing is, every time MPV starts up, it gets a number after it. So I want, if you didn't do that, every time it would start up, it would go into default connecting. And it would connect not only to JAMN, but it would also connect to system output. We don't want that. It creates echoes. So by putting that regular expression, it says MPV followed by anything. We want you to go to JAMN and nowhere else. So that's what that regular expression means. It means the number following MPV. Any number, take it. If I didn't have that, it would. Another one too is the connection here can be. You have to tell it's exclusive, but those are in the notes. All right, so this is the predefined connection. If I want to, this thing here is active, as you can see up here, and if I make changes here, I have to reactivate, and then that will cause the connections to reset to a different level. So, for example, I could turn off the JAMN output to processed. I would have to resave and reconnect everything here. I'd just have to reactivate it, and I would ask me if I wanted to save it, and I'd say yes, and so forth and so on. And then when it came back up, the connection to the meters would be gone, and the meters would be dead. I'm not going to do it, but it does work. All right, so what have we got now? The audio that you're hearing me, or the output from the player, or both at the same time. Actually, it is both at the same time. We could run these through another mixer, a digital mixer. There is a mixer, and I could on screen control the mix between the multiple sources. But I'm not doing it right now. We've got enough things on the screen. This is JAMN. It's very sophisticated. What we're looking at now is the basic input. The input is on the left here. The output is on the right. What you're seeing is the raw output with the taller bars and the RMS output, root mean square output, in the shorter bars. So that's the output. What we're looking across the top here that's my actual voice as I'm speaking, somewhat biased down around here, which is about 150, something like that, hertz. This is a mixer curve, rather messy. It's a 1024 element equalizer, excuse me, not mixer, equalizer. And I was playing around with it. You can draw it. You see the pen here, and if I were to draw it, I could cause the lines to change. I'm not going to do that now. I'm sure a disaster would result. But it does reflect equalization. This is the 30-band equalizer. In the 30-band equalizer, you can see the sliders will match. They actually do match the drawn line on the other side, and I could play with it. I could, do something to change the pitch of my voice or something. This is the actual spectrum as I'm speaking, and you can see it rising and falling in different parts of the spectrum. These are the compressor curves. The system has 3 sets of compressors, low, medium, and high. And the place where low and medium begins, the crossover, you can adjust. And so you see the frequency. Mid-range is 168 to 1566 by default. I don't think I changed it. And the high is everything above that, and the low is everything beneath that. These are the compressors. There's 3 different compressors. And as you can see, the gain here is attenuating as I speak, because different parts of the spectrum are louder than others. Finally, over here is the limiter. It's a look-ahead limiter. And if the volume level gets too high, it sees it coming, and it reduces the gain. So it's impossible for me to make this area here, which is the output, go into the red zone.
I can really try, but you see it doesn't happen.
Did you notice up here it never made it above 0? It may have distorted, but it didn't get above 0. All right, enough shouting. So there is the JA Min. A lot of features. These controls down here are the controls for the compressors. At the JA Min website, they give you references if you want to go look up and read how the theory on compressors. It's apparently fairly complicated. But there we see it. So everything is, we can bypass all this here. If we do a global bypass, everything goes through without any compression or any limiting or any equalization. But anyway, I turned it back on. I don't know what difference that made to the sound of my voice. All right, so that's basically it. As we go over here and I pull OBS into the center screen, OBS has got a lot of features. Like if I want to add an additional mode of transition, you pick them. Luma Wipe is one I like. If I say yes, I hope this is recording. Luma Wipe 5 it's going to be. And let's see, Iris Fractal Circles. So I try circles, and I'll say OK. So now I have one which is circles, and let me see what happens if I go to one of the other scenes here. Oh, there we go. Isn't that nice? Lots of very professional features that you can play with here, and a lot of additional things to get going. Streaming, if I click this button, I've got a problem, because it'll try to start streaming, and I don't want to do that. You set that up in settings. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope nothing goes wrong here. Okay, these are the settings. I hope they're being shown. Yes, they are, apparently. There's a lot of settings. Most of them you want to leave just the way they are. And stream here is where you put where you put your stream key. Different casting sites or servers, they will have a different URL. This is set up for Von Live, and they use RTemp. So does IVlog, for that matter. When you sign up for this service, they will give you a streaming key. It's blocked out here, but that's where my streaming key is. That enables me to go onto the site and to cast. Takes a couple of minutes before it all sets up, but it works. In the output here, you can. A lot of things can't happen right now because it's locked up, because it's in operation. You can set the resolution, bit rates, frame rates, things of that nature. In the audio, you set the. Here's where the other devices could be turned on. I only am running with Jack at the moment. I don't have this set up for a pulse input, but it could, pulse audio. And you set up the sampling rate and so forth, and it's the video rate. I'm doing this in 1920 1080. You could theoretically cast at that level, but your stream rate would be enormously high. What you want to do is get the smallest possible stream rate consistent with what you're trying to do. Try to keep it under a megabit per second, because a lot of people with cell phones and tablets can't take it any faster than that. And it also runs up their plan. And I'm also running 24 frames per second in a real world environment. 20 frames is usually plenty, sometimes 10. Again, all these things cut down your bit rate. Things you may want to check on. All right, so there we are. Studio mode just allows you to see the next scene before you go to it. It divides the screen in two, and if you switch from one to the other, it tends to blow up. Start in one and stay in it. All All right, I think we've covered all the things on the screen. Now this all is initiated, and I can't do it, but I have a script which comes with the package. And the script there, if I say, if I'll click on it, nothing will blow up if I go to display. It's simply moved to the directory containing Jack OBS Studio and to run startstudio.script. And that gets it going. And that brings everything up that you see on the screen. If you want to play with this, the best thing to do is get the ISO, which is a Ubuntu 16.10 operating system, which I installed all of this in it. It's all ready to go. Everything will work. Plug it in, turn it on, and it'll run. It won't be as fast as it's native, and you won't be able to save anything onto the because all settings are lost when you reboot. You could save things onto another part of the same device. I usually use a 32 gig USB flash drive, and the ISO only takes about a gig. So the rest of the drive is available for anything I want to use it. I can format that into another partition, which I can put music or anything else, so, casting on a stick. It's possible. The other thing that's interesting, and I may try to tack a video on later, I'll have to use my camera to do it, is behind me there is an Intel compute stick connected to a old monitor, which I bought at Goodwill. It's connected by a DVI cable. It has 2 USB ports on it. The thing is smaller, about half the size of a package of cigarettes. It's very tiny. It's an old Intel Atom quad core. I think it's 1.2 gigahertz. It's not a very fast device. It has 2 gig of memory, and I think 32 gig altogether of so-called disk space, much of which is used by the operating system. And it's running an older version of Ubuntu Mate, 1604 Mate from Linuxium. There's a guy in Australia, Linuxium, and the problem with booting on it is you need a 32-bit UEFI loader, and nothing comes with 32-bit anymore. So anyway, it runs. But I can run all of this on that stick. And the monitor actually has a built-in video camera and audio. And it uses the video, uses the audio. I can plug an external disk drive in for videos if I want to cast. And the whole thing will run on this $100 stick. It was a sale on Amazon. It cost about $110, I think, last year. And runs fine. The output to my to the network is via Wi-Fi. It has Bluetooth, but the Bluetooth doesn't work with Linux. I don't know why, but anyway, for audio, I just plug in one of my $8 USB audio cards. And so, you could carry this entire studio in your pocket. So if you pull into your Motel 6 and they got a flat screen TV, just plug it into the DVI ports and you're on the air. All right, we'll call it here, and I'm going to click stop recording and hope everything came out.